In this section, we will go over the useReducer hook. And after importing it, we can initialize it with array destructuring. And remember, state in dispatch are user defined, and we could have called them anything. And our useReducer hooks takes two arguments, a reducer and an initial state. So let's actually create a reducer to work with our useReducer hook. In the store directory, let's create a hooks state folder, and then we can create a hooksReducer.js file. And to save some time, we can just copy and paste our code from reducer1. Let's get rid of the export default call and export both the hooksReducer and the initial state as well. And here are the actions we will use. We don't need to change them at all. So let's import the reducer we just set up, and remember to import star as reducer since it's not export default anymore. Then we can pass in the reducer as the first argument to useReducer. And remember, the reducer.hooksReducer means the reducer that we set up in the import statement dot in the name of the reducer we set up in the hooksReducer file. And then we can set up the initial state in the same way. Next, we can import our actions the same way that we did our reducer. To handle our actions, let's create an arrow function called handleDispatchTrue. And then we can do dispatch and then in the parentheses actions.success. And again, the .success is an action creator that's coming from our actions.js file. And all it does is return the type of action types.success, which is just a string of success. And I'll also include two other dispatch methods on top of the actions.success call. And all these are three different ways to dispatch actions, and they're doing the same thing. They're returning a JavaScript object with a type property and a value of the string of success. And now we can create a handleDispatchFalse function, and this will dispatch the failure actions. And let's also create two new buttons to handle these functions. And let's pass in the functions to the onClick method in the same way we've been doing. And finally, in our render method, we can display some text depending on whether the property is true or false. So let's first start off with state dot. And remember, state is not a special keyword here. It's just the first argument in the useReducer call. And it was user defined and we could have made this anything. But since we're using useReducer, it's convention to just name it state in dispatch. Next, it would be state.stateProp1. And remember, stateProp1 is just a property in the initial state of our hooksReducer. And that's where we're getting it from our reducer. We don't have stateProp1 defined anywhere in this hooks container one. So let's finish off our ternary expression. So if stateProp1 is true, we can just display stateProp1 is true to the UI. And if false, we can just display stateProp1 is false. So let's save everything and check. And yes, we should be seeing stateProp1 is false because that was the initial value we set in our hooksReducer. And if we click the dispatch true button, it should change to stateProp1 is true. And yes, it is working. Perfect.